Cyberpunk 2077 is a game set in a world where crime happens a lot. Like, a lot. But surely there must be some law-abiding citizens left in the world, right? Today, I seek to answer the question, can you beat Cyberpunk 2077 without breaking the law? Now, the universe of Cyberpunk has been in development since 1988, but for some indiscernible reason, they haven't written out the entire legal code of Night City. So for this one, we're going to have to set some ground rules. The basis for everything here in the run is built off the California legal code of current day, the state where the game is set. I'm also going to give a little disclaimer here. I'm not a lawyer! I don't even live in California! I'm just looking through the California legal code that I can find online, and I'm trying to impose limitations in an effort to make an interesting run. That said, I'm going to go over the rules and what codes caused me to put them into place. First, I can't kill anyone who isn't actively committing a crime. Second, the only guns I can use are revolvers and handguns. Third, I must reload my gun every time I start combat to simulate loading a clip into an empty gun. Fourth, I can only use weapons licensed and registered to myself, meaning that I can't use guns I haven't purchased at a gun shop. Fifth, I must obey traffic laws and use crosswalks. Sixth, I can't pick up ground loot as it's considered stealing. These are the rules that I plan to follow for the duration of this run. Obviously all laws are in play, but it would take ages to list them all out. So, let's get right into the run. I start off by picking Corpo as my life path, because the other two are instant failures. Street Kid path, you try to steal a car. Nomad path, you illegally smuggle a whole ass iguana over the border. In the Corpo path, you do plan to kill Director Abernathy, which would fall under conspiracy charges. However, according to Penal Code Title 1, people who commit crimes under the threat of their life being endangered are unable to be held liable. Considering our boss was able to turn off our cybernetic implants, killing and or injuring us, that falls under a life-endangering threat. After creating the biggest law follower known to man, I put my points into cool, reflexes, and intelligence so I can sneak, use handguns, and hack. I didn't think about that I could open doors with technical ability, but I respec into it later, so it's whatever. I puke, listen to Jenkins yap some more, illegally get my life threatened into doing a hitman job for my boss, fly in my boss's helicopter, barely manage to resist the urge to attack these guys so I don't get pressed with assault, and go into Lizzie's so I can meet up with Jackie. After a meeting with people in my company that goes very well for me,
your access to company networks is hereby revoked.
The game begins proper, and I'm able to do the first mission due to Good Samaritan laws, which allows me to justify my homicide to resist attempted murder via the theft of implants. Jackie drives us home to the worst music ever, and I watch these guys drive into a wall without me lifting a finger. We arrive back into Watson, and I shake my head disapprovingly at Jackie so that the police officer knows I disapprove of him lying. I get home, pass out, wake up with a brain STD, meet up with Jackie, go to Vic's for some implants, and then get in Dexter Deshawn's car. Man, this run is going great so far. Let's go talk to Dex. I'm sure nothing can go wrong. V commits the crime of conspiracy here with Dexter Deshawn almost immediately as a required part of the plot. Now this means the run is officially dead. However, I don't feel like quitting, so let's answer a new question. Can you beat Cyberpunk 2077 without committing more than one crime? Now, meeting with Evelyn is legal, but the flathead might be an issue. Although buying stolen goods without knowing they're stolen isn't illegal, so as long as Dexter doesn't tell us—
Jumped a Militech convoy, got away with the gear.
Okay. That's 2 run-ending moments in a single car ride. Thank you, Dexter Deshawn. Anyways, let's change it again. Can you beat Cyberpunk 2077 without committing more than 2 crimes?
Don't you steal the biochip from Yorinobu as part of the plot?
3 crimes. Okay, fine. I get out of the car that ended my run twice in the span of a minute and decide to get Maelstrom out of the way first because I just didn't think about the free XP I'd get from doing Evelyn's interview. Now, the Militech angle has us ignoring other crimes such as kidnapping and stuff through Meredith Stout, and killing the Maelstrom gang just to get something I don't own does not fall under a justifiable cause for homicide, so I have to pay out of pocket. After realizing I can't legally sell my weapons or ammunition because there would be no logical reason for me to have the license to do so, it's time to start looking into side gigs. On my way there, I realized just how insufferable crosswalks are going to become during this run. Please? Yay! I come up on the Hippocratic Oath gig and realize that this is gonna be a little trickier than I thought. You see, the justification I did for the first mission doesn't actually work here.
This last time it was Good Samaritan laws. She's not in any medical danger here. I'd be trespassing. So not that one!
Except actually, I was just wrong about this, because I can't read. I had to come back and do this one because I needed the money. Bad. Many ways to skin a cat was stealing and driving.
That's a no.
Playing for keeps was just burglary.
Don't think I can do that one.
I got hit by a car.
Flipped it.
Then I think the run is over because I can't do Monster Hunt.
I can't kill him because he does bad things. Fuck!
However, this is when I make an important discovery. Citizens arrests. See, since the bar Jotaro is currently residing in is public space, as long as I'm not told that I can't go to certain parts of that space, then I could absolutely go up and perform a citizen's arrest under probable cause. After I citizen's arrest Jotaro, something that I guess I just forgot to record footage for, I realized that the same thing can hold true for cyberpsychos. After fixing my shadow play so that I actually get footage of the things that I do,
I knocked out this guy as a citizen's arrest.
I pay for the flathead and I move on to the interview with Evelyn Parker. The first thing that I can do without getting a headache in the entire run. After Judy drops me into YouTube poop mode,
You look like a cut of fuck on me.
I start gearing up for the heist by dropping a couple of cyberpsychos. First, I do a blue-collar worker, then a veteran, and I buy a revolver off this guy from Maelstrom, and I beat up some random woman who worked for Militech, and then I buy a bunch of ammo for my guns, and completely forget the fact I don't get to take them into the final mission. As the family meets up for the first time in real space, weird fucked up dog and all, they discuss the plan and I start to discuss my own. You see, we're already stealing, so I don't want to get any extra crimes on my record, because we're already up to 3. We do lie to the concierge on our way in, but impersonation apparently doesn't apply if the person you're impersonating doesn't exist, so we're fine there. I'm gonna keep it down to 3 by following 2 simple rules. Don't take anything out of the hotel or penthouse, and don't kill anyone. After T-Bug sicks our dog on the guy in this chair, something I have nothing to do with, we make our way into Yorinobu's suite and commit the 3rd unavoidable crime of the run. After watching all of the hope drain from Jackie's face in an instant,
You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
we watch Saburo die of natural causes and then proceed to get shot at and fall off a roof. Now the real fun begins. Making it out of Konpeki Plaza without killing anybody and stealthily is something that I think I am fully incapable of doing. I suck at it, so instead I came up with a new solution. Now thankfully you can make it through the majority of Konpeki Plaza without killing anybody because it's not required. However, there's one portion that becomes an issue, getting down this elevator. You see, you need an access card from this guy, and this guy needs to die for you to get that access card. I can't kill this guy. Jackie, however, can kill this guy. It's just gonna take a while. So after about 20 minutes of sitting there waiting for Jackie to whittle down this guy's health, he finally dies and I'm able to make it down, out to the car, and out. After shooting down some privately owned drones that attacked me first, we go through the obligatory story stuff, including the death of, jacking, according to IGN, before having a Fallout New Vegas, with Dexter Deshawn, and going into the Johnny parts of the story, which are memories and I can do whatever I want. After making sure not reporting a crime isn't illegal in California, because, well, I am made to use lethal force in self-defense against these actual ninjas. After undergoing a bit of back alley brain surgery,
Gotta cut my way through the occipital bone.
Vic gives me my diagnosis and I have a little disagreement with my imaginary friend Johnny.
Stick some iron in your mouth and pull the trigger!
After waking up and going outside, I get an important text message. No, not you, Takamura, this text. I could buy a car and only have to deal with road laws and not crosswalks. So now I have my first goal. Citizens arrest enough cyberpsychos to where I don't have to suffer through being a pedestrian anymore. You know what that means. Citizens arrest. What the fuck? After realizing just how much I get from cyberpsycho jobs,
I do. Oh, money!
I apologize for the terrible in-game mic quality. I just moved into a microwave. I drop another cyberpsycho and I'm wired the last bit of money I need to buy myself a car.
Alright, let's fucking go, baby. I can finally buy a goddamn car, thank Christ.
It's only at this point my friend reminded me of something I didn't think about the entire time it took me to get here.
Hey man, does V have a driver's license?
I immediately paused the run, and after briefly scouring the web for information, I came to the conclusion that unfortunately, there's no evidence to suggest that V has a driver's license. I thought it was implied, since in the intro V is shown purchasing a car, but as it turns out, you can purchase a car without actually having a license. You just can't drive it. I then thought this would apply to guns too, and then I'd have to restart the run. However, vendors aren't legally allowed to sell guns without seeing a permit from the person buying it. So as far as I'm concerned, V does in fact have a license to carry. With those rules cleared up, I use my new surplus of cash on a weapon upgrade and prepare myself for the main questline. As I use my 1 free stat reset, I think it's about time to go over the game plan for the rest of the run. The rest of Act 2 has 15 required quests split into these groups. I'm going to elaborate on each quest as I take them on, but this is the information I gathered going in. A full third of the required quests that you have to do are dialogue only, making them completely irrelevant. 2 can be written off as self-defense, 1 of them is a memory, 1 of them is Good Samaritan laws, 2 are semi-public spaces I can claim I wasn't told to leave, and 1 more is a citizen's arrest and self-defense. As you can see, this leaves us with a set of problem missions, the Anders Hellman questline. Now, I did find a good amount of workarounds for certain parts of the questline, but just know that the title of the video might change a few more times. Sorry. Now that I have a game plan in mind, I go to Tom's diner and meet up with Takamura, who immediately decides to hit me with the Uncle Aaron special move.
Hey.
After a brief conversation, he pisses off and is replaced by Johnny, who wants to make me commit crimes like a no-good ruffian. After a quick call with Judy, I make my way to Lizzie's and find out where Evelyn was working before this. Not wanting to walk all the way to Clouds, I decide to take the metro and spend an illogically long amount of time trying to figure out how the hell the Night City train system works. After a few minutes of realizing how much work CD Projekt Red put into the system that nobody ended up actually using, I have a brief run-in with this freak.
Why is this guy wearing BDSM gear in public?
I watch a police car defy physics for pedestrians other than myself, and then make it to Clouds, where I immediately cancel the session because I'm on duty and I don't condone sex work. After checking to make sure there weren't any "no hopping out of the window and walking on the balcony" signs around, I hopped out of the window and walked onto the balcony to get into the VIP area. I talked to this guy, who points me to this guy in another area nobody told me that I couldn't be in, who immediately says,
No clients allowed in.
Oh, my bad.
However, on my way out, I happened to ask him a couple helpful questions about the thing that I need to be doing. I go to Finger's clinic and start having flashbacks.
Okay, cool. The door opens, so we're allowed.
Yes? Hello?
We're allowed to be here.
For you?
After watching Judy assault an innocent man, we go on to the debatably legal part of this quest. As far as I was able to find online, selling the material and consuming the material are both illegal, but just purchasing the material in and of itself isn't. Debatably. Look, if you want to flame me for this one in the comments and say that it's actually more crimes than what I said it was, fine, I get it. And no, even under that justification, I don't think that this counts as consuming it because I immediately go into this weird fucked up editing mode. I don't just watch it as it is. Sue me. Good Samaritan laws allow me to do the same things that I did in the intro mission of the game, so after getting the most bizarre takedown of all time,
No. Oh my god, that worked!
I make my way into the basement and I rescue Evelyn Parker. Heading back to Judy's apartment, Johnny asks me to smoke a cigarette, and because smoking is bad for your lungs, I kindly tell Johnny that I'm not going to do that.
Smoking is bad for your lungs, Johnny.
I then get all the information I can from the brain dance recorded by Evelyn, and with that, we've completed the first of the 4 required quest lines. While waiting for Mr. Hands to call back about the VDBs, I accidentally do a bit of a throwback.
So guys, we did it!
I do the We Have Your Wife side gig for some spare cash under Good Samaritan laws. I meet up with Takamura, whose friend immediately bullies me. Wakako then shows us a bunch of pretty visuals that have absolutely nothing to do with any crime, and Mr. Hands gets back to me and I'm finally able to start the Voodoo Boys questline. After following Placide around to this damn song for about 10 minutes, he sits me down and uses the fact that there are animals in the gym as an excuse to tenderly grab my hand. To complete this job, I go to a Ripper dock and I decide to gear up by grabbing some optical camo, which is immediately made useless as I can't fucking stealth for shit. I search through the files on this truck, at which point some random guy decides to boot me out. I find him hiding in the theater, and since any form of assault on him would be illegal, it looks like I'm siding with Netwatch on this one. This turns out to be more than morally justified as Placide assaults me the second that I get back. I then go and talk to Maman Brigitte, possibly the only rational person in this entire place. She can theoretically help me get this damn chip out of my head. Now in the net, Brigitte touches my face, and suddenly I'm back in Johnny's memories, meaning I can do whatever the hell I want. A set of memories and a conversation with Johnny later, I get jump scared by a wall, and watch the digital ghost of Alt Cunningham kill these people, not me. I have a brief conversation with Alt, and then I jack out, ready to leave. Unfortunately, the VDBs have decided to take petty revenge, and in self-defense, I am forced to kill them, including Placide, thank God. Lucky for my weak-ass pistol, Placide's brain decided to break, and he decided to just stand in front of a pillar instead of actually fighting back. As I'm a law-abiding citizen and don't agree with Johnny's terrorist ideologies, I simply take the Omega Blockers and don't listen to what he has to say, moving me on to the next quest. With the amount of time that's passed, I decide to continue the Takamura questline, at which point I reach a problem. If I truly believe that door's stuck, genuinely, then I'm not breaking into somewhere. I mean, there's no sign on it that says that I can't go in there. So I need another 2 points of body, which means I need another 2 levels, which means I need to go do things for another 2 levels. So where better to start than to judge some random guy on the street because Johnny told me to. After getting his bootleg tapes back, which is somehow related, I guess, I'm able to finally get enough XP to level up again. For my last level, I meet up with my work buddy for coffee, who pulls a gun on me, at which point I'm forced to use self-defense and kill him. With this out of the way, I'm able to go through this very stuck door, which will allow me to put a USB chip into a computer like Takamura told me to. I mean, it's only remote access, that's not illegal. What could he do with that? With nothing else to do, I then go talk to Rogue so I can start the most evil questline in the game. It starts off with a bang when Rogue immediately charges me 15,000 eddies for the information I need. I don't even have 5. So after a selfie from Takamura, I decide to go do some more cybercycling jobs. I take my 15,000 eddies back to Rogue, and she gives me the info I need on Helmet. I then go meet up with Panam, and run into another annoying door-shaped roadblock. Another stuck door later, and I can continue with the mission. A bit of self-defense and retrieving Panam's car key, and I thankfully am kicked out of the driver's seat, as I can't legally drive the car. I deny Panam's revenge for the first time ever, feeling like a complete dickhead doing so, and accompany Panam to what, as far as I know, is a fully legal meeting with 6th Street. At this point, I find out that Rogue gives you a whole fucking car for doing this. A car that I cannot drive. After a dialogue-related reset...
Satwave power station?
Yes.
That's a crime.
I try the other dialogue path and realize I'm getting hit with another crime charge. This mission is going to be the most problematic of them all. For this reason, I decided the only proper way of going about it was to bring it to a totally legitimate court of law. But first, other than conspiracy, what are the charges? Operating heavy weaponry in a public space, trespassing, destruction of property, operating city electrical components without permission or experience, and manslaughter, as the blackout killed thousands. Another important thing to note is that Panam hit the detonate button, not me. Now, look, originally I had a whole bit planned for this segment of the video where I went into a court and I recorded it, and I even edited parts of it. But the thing is, it didn't have the right pace as the rest of the video, and overall it wasn't that funny. So instead, I'm just going to list the charges on screen. Voila! If you would like to see the full recorded, edited version of that trial, maybe I can make that its own video at some point. But overall, not that funny. We're gonna move on. So to most, this would seem like pretty much the end of the run. I mean, 8 crimes in a crimeless run seems pretty much like the end of the line. But I am a stronger man than most. I wouldn't let a petty 5 extra crimes on my record stop me. No, I am going to keep going. I'm going to make it all the way up Arasaka Tower without getting a single extra crime. Can you beat Cyberpunk 2077 with only 8 crimes? I immediately go to inspect the downed AV and help survivors, at which point they open fire and I'm forced to use self-defense. No, you shot at me! I watch Panam kill an innocent man and save Mitch and have a mini heart attack thinking they force you to drive a motorcycle. Oh, thank Christ! After an annoyingly long sprint across the desert, I find out that these suits have in fact also broken the law, making my goal clear. That sounds pretty illegal to me. I managed to sneak through an area undetected for the first time ever, and I am then required to break yet another law for this goddamn questline. Roll the title card or whatever. Only 9 crimes! I almost have a stroke thinking I'm gonna hit double-digit crimes, but I'm given a pass, thank God. Oh! No! Yes! It didn't show me riding the bike, it didn't count! I have a nice chat with Hellman and then get an intervention from my 3 best friends. I continue to ignore the requests of the terrorist living in my head. And get interrupted on my way out. Not the Balatro questline! Next, I meet up with Takamura for the next step of his questline and realize that I've made an error. You see, if you choose to go on the recon mission with Takamura, you unlock this dialogue option here, which is how I planned to enter as he allowed me in. I didn't go on the recon with Takamura. I found an alternate path in that nobody told me I couldn't enter, so I'm still gonna say 9 for the sake of time, and in terms of the run, you could definitely still be at 9 if you weren't a moron like I was. After actually succeeding at by far the longest, hardest stealth segment in the run, I opened this random computer for fun and nothing else before going out the same way that I came in, as the roof was way riskier when doing full stealth. After a weird little call with Takamura, Don't do the fucking DreamWorks face at me, Takamura. I chat with him in the market again, and he gives me a data shard. Thankfully, Takamura is also a law-abiding citizen, and informs me of where a few ne'er-do-wells will be illegally wielding sniper rifles during the parade. After a while, the parade starts, and immediately I set off on my quest. I take out the first criminal, navigate my way up to the second one. I did not attack you, what? And use the fact that I am actively running for my life in self-defense as a reason to climb on this building. I then spend way too long searching just to find the third one has somehow managed to phase through the bridge. How the hell did you get in there? Finally, I unplug this nefarious hacker just to get assaulted by Oda. Battle. After taking my victory with humility and grace, Oda decides it's a great idea to shoot the face of the Arasaka Corporation, and I am forced to book it out of there. After completely forgetting how many times Takamura told me to knock and hitting my button input too quickly, Jesus! I actually knocked the right amount of times, and for some reason Hanako decides to listen to me instead of the one who's been a trusted confidant of her family for years. I'm also going to point out that this is not aiding Takamura in the crime, because kidnapping her was completely his doing, and she clearly could have left if she wanted to, as she's not restrained or anything. As Arasaka rolls up on us, I make sure to save Takamura and make my way out of the building. Takamura proceeds to not return the favor, and I wake up in some random shitty hotel thanks to the terrorist in my head. I have a chat with fake Hanako, and with that, it is time for us to go into the endgame. As I wake up in a second, unrelated hotel, which I am not ruling as trespassing because, as you can see here, Johnny refers to us as its sole residence, and as far as my dumbass is aware, that means that he paid for a room with my body. But disregarding that, let's talk about our plans for the final mission. There are 4 different people who can help you get into Arasaka Tower. Pen M. Palmer, Hanako Arasaka, Rogue Amendiaries, or just Johnny and you. However, the answer to this is actually quite simple. It's Hanako. You see, for all of the other ones, you are simply breaking and entering or just walking onto private property and then opening fire. This is bad. You can't do this. The way around this is to go with Hanako, because Hanako is a member of the Arasaka Corporation, and if anybody shoots you as you walk in, then you're doing self-defense, as you are allowed to be there. The only issue that can arise with this may come from the whole thing where you break Hanako out, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. However, there's one more thing I need to do before we go to the finale. I need to go to the gun shop, and I need to get something better than a fucking green pistol. Do I have any money? No, I don't. I need to do more fucking Cyber Psycho games. I kick off the endgame by meeting up with Hanako, get really tired of listening to Johnny's yapping, shut the fuck up! And show just how much the chip is getting to me with a horrible attempt at a joke. I think I've had one too many, chips in my brain. I once again wake up on Vic's table to bad news and follow Misty upstairs, where I choose to work with Arasaka and take beta blockers so that Johnny finally stops talking. Misty gives me a reading and then I head off so that we can go save Hanako. We first arrive at the estate, where I once again thank God that not reporting a crime isn't illegal, cause I'm fucking doing this. As we enter, I realize that strangely the only legal way to save her, as she's not technically being held hostage, is self-defense, as she did invite me inside. So one set of he shot firsts later, Hanako is free, and I once again take a ride in my boss's helicopter. I follow Hanako through familiar scenery. I watched a terrorist get shot in the face here. And briefly get sidetracked by impressively good Foley. Sound design on that hand is really good. I find out Gramps was in fact too based to have died from his son's cringe and get to take someone's seat in the meeting on the set of Jumanji. After I drop my bombshell, the meeting is immediately, cut short. I make my way through the forest of guys who all shot at me first, and then I hop into this elevator, which takes me to a room of guys who all shot me first, where I hop into this elevator, which takes me to another room full of guys who shot me first. Why the hell is the mission where I'm committing mass murder more legal than anything else in this damn run? And after all we've gone through, the final fight turns out to be self-defense. So it's you and fucking me, Atom Smasher.
None leave the slaughterhouse. Not alive.
To keep my reputation as a law-abiding citizen safe, I leave Atom Smasher alive for the police to deal with, and have a chat with a notably pantsless Yorinobu. I stumble my way into yet another elevator with Hellman, have one last argument with my imaginary friend, and then wake up in another bed, this time without the super brain STD. I go through a series of tests with what I can only assume are aliens.
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
I have a brief chat with Ukrainian Victor, and then I sign my soul away, proving that no, you cannot beat Cyberpunk 2077 without committing any crimes, but you can do it with only 9. Hello, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This project has been in the works for a while, and I'm really happy with how it turned out overall. It was a really interesting run to do because it showed how much work CD Projekt Red put in as to how the average experience for somebody who didn't use a car or fast travel would experience. Something like this elevator that I'm showing in the footage behind me, I've never seen this before. I didn't even know this was something that you could do. It was overall really interesting to see Night City from this perspective, and it's really cool to see just how much work CD Projekt Red put into their game. If you've got any challenge run ideas, questions, comments, concerns, etc., feel free to leave them in the comments. Liking and subscribing would be sick. Yeah, that's about it. Peace.